So I've got a bunch of examples here. This first image actually is literally where I was this morning. I was lucky enough to be in central London on the HMS Nelson there, which is moored up by the City of London. And I was presenting to a large group of MSPs. And the reason I'm showing this picture is I asked the question at the beginning of the session, how many people have a website which they are proud of and that delivers them multiple leads on a monthly basis? Do you want to hazard a guess as to how many people put their hand up?
I'm going to say it was probably a lower percentage. I'm going to say everybody probably raised their hand that they had a website, but is it helping them with leads? I'm going to assume was a lot less.
Exactly. It was none. It was none. And it was exactly the same the day before when I was in over in Cambridge to a similar group of people. And I hear this a lot. And so why is this the case? You know, to try and answer your question there, why do people neglect it? I think there's probably 2 or 3 reasons. I think, first of all, I speak to a lot of MSP business owners around the world, not just here in the UK, but certainly across North America as well. And there typically is a kind of a reluctance to sell. People, it's not that in their comfort zone typically. IT is in their comfort zone typically. And so I think for me, websites just get pushed aside a little bit. It's almost in the too difficult pile. And what I say to people is, look, if you can get this right, if you can put some time and energy into getting your online presence right, it actually helps to become another salesperson for your organization. And it actually reduces the amount of selling you need to do as an owner manager, because your site will do a lot of the work for you. The opposite also applies, Stephanie. You know, if you have a site that looks like it was still built in the 1980s, it actually does the opposite and it puts people off. An analogy I like to make here is if you're at a networking event, as an example, you're meeting somebody and they're boring, they talk about themselves, they have a limp handshake. What do? You make your excuses and go and visit the bar or the bathroom or whatever it may be. It's exactly the same online, except the back button is only pixels away and it's not rude to click the back button. So I think that's one of the reasons why people need to focus more on their online presence. A couple of other thoughts as well. I know a load of people spend huge amounts of money on their social media presence, their blog content, pay-per-click, and that return on investment is normally kind of scrutinized and frowned on because normally there isn't much of that return on investment. One of the reasons why is because people are landing on websites, which is expensive traffic coming to it, and it's not delivering what it should do. People aren't being impressed, people aren't being wowed, and so guess what? They disappear and the conversions don't happen. Imagine that every single person that is bouncing off your website, if you look at your analytics, has the ability to spend, let's say $1,000 a month with you as a business, 3-year deal, $40,000. Every single person that's bouncing off your website is potentially, this is perhaps a bit of an exaggeration, but it's potentially losing you $40,000 if you don't create the right impression online. So there's some very good reasons where I think this needs to be focused on.